Well, hello and welcome to our interview. My name is Andrew Jenkins. I'm a STEM ambassador and I'm going to be interviewed by two young scientists, Theo and Ava.
I'm Theo and I'm 5 years old. I'm Ava and I'm 10 years old.
Now, the first question from Theo.
What is science like?
Well, Theo, I think you know part of the answer to that because we have been having online science club every week during the lockdown. So what do you think science is about?
I think science helps you answer questions about the world.
That's a really good answer, and science is a way of learning about the world by asking questions, thinking of possible answers, and then using fair tests to see whether the answer is right or not. For example, we could ask the question, what do plants need to live and thrive? And one possible answer could be nutrients, certain chemicals. So we could have two similar plants and provide more of a particular fertilizer to one than to the other one. And if the first one grew better, then we'd know that our answer was the right one. Now, the next question.
What has your life been like?
So, my life, after I finished studying, I went to Bangladesh to help people who were hungry because there had been floods and their crops of rice had been destroyed. Later on, I studied some more in England and became an agricultural engineer, working to help drain and protect flooded land and provide water to grow food where there's not enough rain. Right now I'm helping to develop new land which has come out of the sea so people can live there safely and grow food. So I've lived for many years in different countries in Asia in some really remote and interesting places. Now the next question from Ava.
How does that connect to your job?
Well, my job is to lead teams of men and women in Bangladesh who have different skills, engineers, agricultural scientists, economists, sociologists and others. And we work together to control water, build roads, and we build shelters that people can use when there are big cyclonic floods, sink wells with hand pumps so that people can have clean water, distribute land, plant trees, and improve the environment that way, and work with men and women farmers to grow more food and produce more livestock and fish. Now, another question from Ava.
What is the best thing you've ever done in science?
I think one of the best things I did was in Laos, where people in the mountains had to move every few years because their crops used up the soil and then they would burn the forest somewhere else to make new fields. And we were able to introduce tree crops, mango, cashew, avocado, black pepper, coffee and others. And they were permanent, so people didn't have to move and the soil was not exhausted. We also built roads and bridges so they could get their crops to market, and small dams to provide water for the crops and people and their animals. And we also vaccinated the farm animals to protect them from disease. And people's lives really improved. And another thing we did was to discover that many people were becoming sick with malaria. And my wife Jan had studied preventive tropical health, and she was aware of some scientific research on this carried out in Africa in the Gambia. So she suggested distributing bed nets treated with permethrin, which is a powerful natural insecticide but safe for people. So we did that in many villages and we reduced the malaria quite substantially, quite a lot. And then another question.
This is a question from my mum. What changes have you been able to make?
Well, one big change we're working on now is growing crops by using less water. In another part of Bangladesh, people are growing a second rice crop by pumping water out of the ground, but this area has lower rainfall, so less water is going into the ground, seeping into the ground in the monsoon, than is being pumped out during the dry season. So we've introduced new high-value crops. These are also tree crops, and use new systems of small pipes so the water drips directly onto the roots of the plant instead of having to flood the whole field, and this reduces the water use tremendously. And another project we're working on is persuading garment factories to use effective treatment for the water they're using. So they use this for industrial processes, so they would stop polluting the rivers. which is very important. Science is continuously working on understanding problems like these and big problems like climate change to find solutions. And we can all take part in this by learning as much as possible and then by working to apply the right solutions to try and solve these very important problems. So, thank you Theo and Ava for great questions, and I hope everyone's enjoyed the interview. I'm really pleased to be part of STEM Ambassadors, a large network of volunteers. Our commitment and support brings STEM subjects to life and helps show they can help you in your career. You can also request a STEM ambassador to support your school and community group activities, either face-to-face or online, by visiting the STEM Learning website. Thank you.